Hello and welcome to another Company of Heroes 3 game. My name is Fancy Josh, and today I've got a game for you between One Well Life as our Africa core. His opponent today is going to be Kasim-GJW as our US. Map today is going to be Pacino's Stalemate. Nasty little cutoff points, very accessible to your opponent, connecting you to a ton of resources on that right side. And same thing goes for the left side, but this cutoff point isn't nearly as exposed. But there is some major field points on that left side to fight over. So, looks like our US player has opened with the Airborne Battle Group and instantly gone for Pathfinders. This strategy used to be very common before I started casting, based on my gathering of details that I've done. And they nerfed it from what I can tell, and it's less popular these days. But the 4 model's still very strong. Typically when you see any sort of scout variation, heavy machine guns is the choice, and we're seeing that here. German player, on the other hand, opening with 3 pioneers and a bike. So both players going to have plenty of capturing power, and I just realized that these colors are a little bit switched for me. Feels like red should be on the left, so I'm going to go ahead and make that happen. There we go, colors are switched. I should say sides of the map are switched here, so now red is on the left and blue is on the right. Nobody panic. But yeah, Pathfinders are now up here, just in case you're wondering. So, this map in particular, I feel like we see players get very, very aggressive. It kind of feels like games on this map can be a little bit one-sided. See if this ends up being the case. By the way, I am catching this game live on the ladder, so hopefully it's a good one and I get to bring it to you. I do really like catching games live on the ladder. It's just, I don't know. There's a lot of databases out there, and it's easy to cherry pick the best games. And that could be really fun, but you miss some really darn cool strategies, and that's what I like about catching games live on the ladder. So hopefully you guys like it too. First heavy machine gun, going to find a couple of these Panzer Pioneers in the open here. German player seeing it though and spread out his units just in time there. Is going to get forced back though. Now these Panzer Pioneers are not in vision, so that heavy machine gun isn't actually able to fire on them, despite being in the arc. More Panzer Pioneers coming in. There are Pathfinders here. Motorbike getting in behind the heavy machine gun here and going to close the gap with all of his Panzer Pioneers there and force that unit back. Nicely done. Engineer followed up for our US player, and Assault Grenadiers on the way for our German player. So interesting from him. I do really like Assault Grenadiers against heavy machine guns in general, especially when they're in a 250. Makes it easy to close the gap and flank those units. German player has locked in his battle group here, Panzerjäger Command. So already having access to those S-mine fields if he wants to. He's going to throw some down right here. As we all know, S-mines very lethal against infantry. They, of course, did get a nerf last patch, so they're less lethal than they were, but still very nasty. And we're seeing our US player throw down some mines here in the middle. Does look like the motorbike is going to catch them doing that. Did the mine finish? Yes, it did. German player may not know that's there, though. He just barely caught it, and the bike fired automatically, so... German player following up with a heavy machine gun of his own, while the US player continues to build them. And support elements on the way, so we're going to see some light vehicles pretty soon here. German has done a better job controlling the fuel for these first few minutes. So, going into this mid-game with a fuel advantage, going to let him get out something like a flak panzer, or flak half-track here. Be very surprised if we didn't see that. Been seeing armored car a little bit more often recently, but I'm not sure what our player has in store for us. I don't think I've ever seen One Well Life play before. I translated that with Google, so hopefully it's accurate. One Well Life is what Google told me his name means. But I don't think I've seen him play before. And very highly rated, so just to see what he's got in store for us. More engineers on the way for our US player. It's a bit unusual. And that's coming after the infantry support center. So I think there's a 100% chance we're going to see half-tracks here, right? I mean, half-tracks are definitely the meta play. 75mm going to do well against this flak half-track being added on by our German player. So, would be surprised if we saw anything else, especially with how little fuel he has right now. Nicely done by these Panzer Pioneers, creating space for himself there so that those flamethrowers can't be used against him. An S-mine field was left behind on this point, so it'd be a little scary to walk through this area if you're a US Pathfinder. And half-track on the way for our US player here. So I'm over here thinking, and I'm wondering, I'm wondering if we're gonna see, what am I trying to say here? Grenade launchers. I mean, with four Panzer Pioneers, it's pretty unusual to not see grenade launchers. That strategy much more popular in team games from my experience, but still quite good even in this game mode because it's an APM sink for your opponent, right? They have to spend their actions moving their units out of the way of grenade fire or closing the distance with your units, that type of thing, right? Panzer Pioneers finally finding that mine on their way out. Fortunately for our German player, didn't hit it on the way in. Or I said our German player. That's a German mine right there. Well, all this is happening. German player is losing a bunch of territory on that bottom side. So is denying his opponent fuel on that top side, but yeah, this player coming out a little bit ahead right now. Ambulance added on for the German, more mines going down. I like these mine placements. They aren't in a place that prevents pushes, but they are in a place that prevents flanks, and that can be really freaking devastating. And we're seeing our German player plant about 1.5 million mines here, just everywhere he can. Black half-track finding this heavy machine gun on the wings here. Bike helping out as well. He's going to capture his fuel back. Really like this from him, using his superior mobility. Might even pick up that unit on its way out. AA half-track in the area for our US player. It does look like he's going to chase the flak. Panzer Pioneers in the area to help out. Motorbike looking on. Is going to be seen here, might be taken out. Black half-track coming back. And wow, that is a lucky bike there. Panzer Pioneers being found out while planting mines there. Did get some in the ground, though. Nicely done here. Both players getting a little bit aggressive. Bike in trouble. Doesn't know it yet. Not in vision of that AA gun this time, so should be okay. Panzerjäger called in. Mechanized Panzerjäger called in here. Motorbike is going to go down. Panzerjäger should be coming up here. Probably going to chase this flak half-track. Flak half-track a little bit low, but there are 2 engineers here. Pathfinder's retreating from the flak half-track there. And here comes the Jaegers getting super aggressive. Is going to lose the 250 and loses 2 models on the bailout there. 2 more shots from those anti-tank rifles. Not enough to bring down that unit. So US player is going to get out of there with his AA half-track, flak half-track on the hunt. But US player smartly going around there. And there's been a ton of action on this side, but again, while all this is happening, US player does not control his topside fuel because the German player has the cutoff there. Bunch of mines here being found out by those mine-sweeping engineers. And one of the engineers going to go down on the retreat here. Flak half-track continuing to get aggressive, maybe hoping to find this AA half-track. Is going to find him. AA half-track is going to go down here, but there's an AT gun here, and it's going to miss its first shot. So flak half-track is going to escape unscathed. So that that AT gun was dropped in from the airborne battle group there. So that's an interesting choice, very uncommon. That said, AT gun's much better against flak half-tracks than something like bazookas, of course. Bazookas struggle with closing the distance with those flak half-tracks, but an AT gun does not have that problem. Pathfinders clearing out the mines with their faces there, as one does. Panzer Pioneers moving into an area here, going to be found out by this heavy machine gun. Might make it to cover, not going to happen. Barely made it into cover, but not quite in time. Flak half-track coming to help out. AT gun ready for the move, though. And keep your eye on that AT gun on the mini-map, right? We're going to see it following around this flak half-track. Anytime the flak half-track makes an appearance, the AT gun is going to move to that quadrant of the map. Engineers making it to the building there. AT gun setting up. German player aware that that might be happening and is going to reposition. He did not have vision of that AT gun, but Sixth Sense was telling him to move out of there. And flak half-track using the buildings for cover here, making it impossible for that AT gun to get anywhere near. German player does know about it now. I think he got vision of it for a minute there. Love this barbed wire from our German, cutting off the heavy cover from his opponent there. Flak half-track just being really, really active here all over the map. Just doing everything it can to help his cause here. I feel like it's actually refreshing to see how active this flak half-track is, right? I feel like we see players kind of posted in one area, but, you know, and just kind of leave it. I mean, not leave it there, just only that place, but I don't know. Let's just say the movement from our German player with that flak half-track, this game in particular, is refreshing. Captain losing this fight, despite being in the side arc of that heavy machine gun. Might even go down on the retreat here. Oh man, just barely not going to go down to that last burst. Flak half-track coming to help as well. Pathfinders in the area. AT gun not anywhere near in position here. Our German player is just going to be able to be annoying there. Panzer Pioneers grabbing up this fuel, but Pathfinders are going to put a stop to that. A tank depot on the way for our German. That's not terribly surprising from a battle group choice perspective, right? If he wants any tanks at all, he has to go for the tank depot. But it is, with other battle groups, it's common to see players just completely forego, the tank depot and instead pick up something like a call-in, Pershing, Easy 8s, that type of thing. But this game, US player rushing that tank depot down, doesn't have enough fuel to actually afford any tanks. Currently, he's about 5 minutes away from a tank, but once he gets some fuel back under his belt here, it's going to be closer to 2 minutes. We're seeing that now. So the bulldozer is by far the most popular choice, I would say. But I don't know if it's going to be the right call in this particular game. But let's just say high-level players don't listen to me while I'm commentating their games very often. US player walking away with a decent amount of map control here. I'm not sure what's changed for him to facilitate this this breakout that I feel like he's having. But has made some forward progress here. Engineers jumping in that house, going to burn away those Panzer Pioneers. We do see some Assault Grenadiers on the field here. Assault Grenadiers going to be pretty good against pretty much everything his opponent has. Grenades driving away the Engineers out of that house. So going to let him secure this area. Panzer Pioneers moving up into that top side. Heavy machine gun in the church here. Going to make short work of these units. And German player is going to take this center area. German going for armored reserves here. So we could see something like a Panzer IV in the near future. Be interesting to see him save all the way up for Tigers. But that's a little bit uncommon. Butterfly bombs unlocked for the German player. That's going to be super annoying for his opponent to deal with. It's yet another APM sink that our U.S. player might have to deal with. And interestingly enough, I mean, with this 4 Panzer Pioneer opening, we never saw any grenade launchers, and I feel like that's so uncommon. So very cool there. But is getting a ton of utility, right? He's got minesweepers, he's throwing down barbed wire, he's just being very active with them. And honestly, they're winning fights, so very cool to see. Heavy machine gun might go down here to this flak panzer. That'd be a devastating loss for him, and it is going to go down there. Let's see if our German player actually wants to capture that or destroy it. Engineers finding this mine that they already knew about there. I do expect we'll see him disable it this time. But US player continuing to deny this cutoff point to his opponent, so really choking him for fuel. We are seeing a regular Sherman on the way here, which I do think is a pretty decent choice in this particular instance. I know that the bulldozer would be better against what his opponent currently has on the field, but a Sherman is going to be better all-rounder. Will continue to contribute as we see German armor roll out on the field here. Does feel like our German is going to save for that Tiger. He's got 100 fuel in the bank, 400 manpower. And as I say that, he instantly calls in a Panzer IV. So, never mind. This player looks like he's going to get his heavy machine gun back, so he's going to be happy about that. Now, Panzer IV pretty handily beats the Sherman, in my opinion. Of course, it's going to depend entirely on the situation. Engineers on a bad retreat path here. Does look like they might go down. Assault Grenadiers continuing to chase here. I think that's a dead engineer. Nice little pickup there. More engineers also taking a bad retreat path. Should make it out this time. Panzer IV finding the Sherman here. Sherman even hit a mine. And that's going to be a dead Sherman surely here. Rocket strike, though, called in. Going to save the day, just barely. But now that the airstrike is over, German player is going to continue to push in, and there's no way that's not a dead Sherman. AT gun set up on this flak half-track instead of the Sherman, but a flank here is going to take down the Sherman there. That's an unfortunate loss for him. AT gun even repositioning at the worst possible time. And yeah, US player is going to get run over here a little bit. There are a lot of Pathfinders in the area. Heavy machine gun, not facing the right way here. And that's going to be a surrender there. So, wow, what a little bit of an anticlimactic ending. But I think, you know, that's what happened that game is what I mean when I say that every game is on a knife's edge, right? I mean, just the loss of a single tank out of position and finding just a rogue mine. I mean, that mine won the game for our German. Taking a quick look at our players' elos here. I mean, both very close, both in the top 20. It's hilarious to me that our German player has lower elo, but is a higher rating. Very interesting. I hope you guys enjoyed this game as much as I did, and I will see you in the next one.